Most of us are stuck waiting for permission, waiting for the right moment, the right title, the right amount of money in the bank. We're waiting till our kids are older, the business is stable, the conditions are perfect. Here's what nobody told me but changed everything. As a Christian man, I didn't need permission. I already had an obligation. Your talents aren't meant to sit inside of you dormant. They were entrusted to you for your family, your community, your work, your mission. And God is asking you right now, what are you doing with them? This is episode 13, where we're moving from identifying investing in your talents to finally sharing them. This is for the 62% of guys that want to break the mold. They want to do something a little bit different. They don't believe in a cookie cutter model. Gallup indicates that 6 out of 10 men want to be their own boss, whether that's as an entrepreneur, as a leader in the community, and 70% of those guys are willing to take the real risk. So many of us find ourselves stuck. And that tension you feel, there's a gap there. It's a drive. It's an internal call. It's not ambition. And it's not motivated by pride. It's your talent looking for a way out, like steam bubbling up in a kettle. Christian man doesn't sit on it. Christian man acts on it. Investing in your talents can only lead to one thing if you want true happiness, peace, and fulfillment in your mission, and that's sharing those talents in service of others. If you haven't seen my other videos, the talent stack is built on 4 domains. At the bottom, you've got the spiritual foundation. And the goal of the spiritual foundation is holiness. We do that by investing in our talents of faith, identity, and relationships. Christ says, do you want to be well? And so that wellness domain is foundational because our well-being, staying healthy and energized for the mission is so critically important. We do that through the talents of nutrition, fitness, and health, those foundational domains of spirituality and wellness. They give you the foundation for growth. Now, this isn't personal growth that you hear about in the self-help literature all the time, where you're becoming the best version of yourself. This is formation to become an integral Christian man. We do that by understanding our God-given temperament and our unique strengths, investing to grow our skills and abilities, those human skills and natural abilities that we have. And we're constantly pursuing learning. We get those 3 foundational layers right, and now we're ready for performance, sharing our talents with the world. This top domain, performance domain, this is where it all comes out, because we're going to have impact to bear fruit for the kingdom. It's not about the outcomes that we're going to achieve. It's about bearing fruit for the kingdom. We do that through our work, stewardship, and service. Your talent stack is unique to you and you alone. It's what you're sharing, and nobody else can share it. And so you're strategically investing in a portfolio of options that only are available to you. Sharing your talents isn't optional. It's a mandate. It's one that you accepted at your baptism. And if you're Catholic, you reaffirmed it at your confirmation. The question, therefore, isn't whether you have permission. It's whether you're answering the call to share those talents. I realized this early on when I started sharing my talents as a missionary in Mexico. Up until that point, before my conversion, I really was living for myself, developing talents on the golf course, in the classroom, wherever it was, public speaking, for myself, for my own glory, not giving anything back to God. And I was miserable. As a missionary in Mexico, driving from New Orleans to Mexico City and then out to the hill country to serve the poor, I discovered incredible creative and entrepreneurial freedom in sharing the talents that I had, the foreign language skills, the ability to build a project, to finance it, to promote it, to recruit others and train them how to become missionaries with me, to manage all the operations and logistics. It was an incredible experience. And I think that planted the seed for me to become one of those 62% who wants to be their own boss. But what did I do? I ended up spending 20 years chasing the wrong talents, trying to climb the corporate ladder, both in the military and in the private sector. Now, there was something nice and attractive about the corporate structure, especially as I was building my family, the constant paycheck. There was something nice about being a number, having health insurance and all the fringe benefits. But the structure also held my gifts back. constraining my talents. That's where I felt like a square peg in a round hole. The question that you really can't ask in the corporate world. Not, am I allowed to do something? What am I called to do in this moment? But instead of asking that question, we end up staying stuck. We compartmentalize our talents so that we mold ourselves if we feel like a square peg in a round hole. And what happens is that instead of growing an equal and balanced portfolio, you find yourself compounding in one area, but underweight in others. And we call it work-life balance. But what we're really seeking is integration. A balanced portfolio of talents looks like an integrated Christian man who shares his talents, doesn't lock some up in silos while sharing the others, isn't overweight in his work talents while neglecting his family. Guys, a talent locked in a silo is effectively buried, and we know what happens with the man who buries his one talent. But 62% of us, according to Gallup, feel that pull. We feel that pull to be our own boss. John Rockefeller felt the same pull. He would later go on to invest his talents in building some of the greatest companies in the world, becoming a prolific Christian philanthropist. I'm not saying he was a saint, but he was somebody who believed that stewardship is not accumulation of wealth, not accumulation of talents. It's sharing the talents that we invest in, not sitting on them, not burying them. And investing your talents across all domains: spiritual, wellness, growth, and performance. That's where you're going to balance your portfolio of talents. With a balanced portfolio, the Christian man can multiply their talents, return 10x, not siloing. Take the guys in the gospel of parable of the talents, where they had 5 talents and 2 talents each, and they returned 5 talents more and 2 talents more to their master. 10 and 4 total, 100% return. Versus the guy who had a single talent, buried it in the ground, and returned a single talent back to their Lord. God's not asking us for that 100% return. That's just an example from the gospel, from the parable. What's important here is about committing to the right inputs and trusting that God's grace is going to transform you through the process. The outcomes will come according to God's plan. It's the inputs. The only thing that you have control of is the inputs. Jordan got this right. We all know the story of Michael Jordan. He got cut from his high school basketball team, didn't make the varsity team, but he built on that failure. Every single day, getting 1% better, practicing free throws, doing drills, running, getting in the best shape. He became the greatest of all time. He was faithful in those inputs. So here's where I am right now. I'm still in the middle of it. I'm not going to tell you this is easy, but I can show you what it looks like when you actually do it. I've transitioned into an amazing role in the Air Force as a product manager, leading a team, building a piece of software. I've got a background in user experience, so I understand software development, but I've never been in a position before where I had so much autonomy to build something great, to use all my talents, my analytical side and my creative side. And it's giving me the skills and knowledge, constantly learning for that next thing that I'm going to do on the entrepreneurial side. A little bit of a secret project right now, and it's pretty big, so I can't wait to share that with you guys. But I'm also investing in my parish, my homeschool network, my co-working space, and my family. We invested in some time together to grow our faith, to grow as a family, grow our culture by going to Rome in 2025 for the Jubilee. Family is really the pinnacle of where we can share our talents. What I'm finding is that now that I'm finally sharing my talents, building this YouTube channel, sharing my talents on the job, sharing my faith with people around me, I'm finding joy in the process, and I'm not stressed out or anxious about the outcomes. And I'm finally breaking free of the perfectionism that plagued me for 20 years. The parable of the talents reminds us that if we're faithful in the little things, we'll be entrusted with greater things. I finally got that point right and stopped trying to jump ahead to become super faithful in the super big things while neglecting the small things. So before we close, one small thing. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. You've got so much talent to share. And if you feel like you're holding back, if your talents are showing up in silos, Maybe they're not showing up consistently across all of the domains of your life. I want you to do one thing with me right now. Write down one way that you can share one talent in the next 1 week. Just one rep. Not focused on the outcome, but focused on the process. Do that, and I'll see you in the next video.